My name is HOnza. I am from 240 Software, based in Prague, Czech Republic. Today I will be talking about optimization and audit. In English, as I found in the dictionary online, as an adverb, this word has two meanings. I will start talking about the first meaning, which basically has the correct German translation, which is the word schnell. So, what's schnell enough? What's fast enough? In this case, I try to search the web for the current opinions, what's fast enough, what's considered fast enough. And this is mostly about websites, but I will apply the same rules to FileMaker. The user ideally expects response to a mouse click to be as fast as eye blink. The first story I am going to talk about is about the company which is called Logrea Dance Academy. This is a dance school based in New York, which was founded in 1986 by two talented dance lecturers from Austria. This company is relatively small, and they have a FileMaker solution developed by one developer, Daniel Dobkin, and the solution is small enough that they don't even use FileMaker Server because they didn't need it. They run it on a FileMaker Pro and host it by FileMaker Pro to 5 other users in the local network, and that was enough for a very long time. But when Daniel turned to us and asked for help, he had a quite difficult situation because it took up to 40 seconds to navigate from one layout to second layout. Do you remember that ideal time for page load? It's 1.5 seconds. And for example, this button was supposed to lead them to classes. So they basically found a student, and the student wanted to know when is the next available class for him to attend. How many times a day you switch layouts? What do you think? Any guesses? 200?
All the time.
Okay, I'll keep the number 200 and I'll return to it later. When we started helping Daniel to optimize this, this is the process that we used for the optimization. This is process that comes from my practice in a manufacturing company, where I learned how optimizing production lines work. And the way they do it is that they find a bottleneck and they fix the bottleneck. And this is the first bottleneck we found. So when we measured everything that was happening there, we discovered that there is this single script called tab script level 1, and out of the 40 seconds, I think it was 35 seconds was spent in this script. So we contacted Daniel, told him we find bottleneck in this to be this script. So the first thing he did to speed up the navigation system was that he replaced all these graphical fields for the layouts and for the buttons. He replaced that with a button bar, which is the new feature that was added to FileMaker 14. And when we measured the results, you discover that he cut the time down to average 21 seconds. So almost half of the original time, but 21 seconds is still too long, right? So because we didn't see that as an acceptable result, we didn't think that it's optimized enough, so we again measured everything, even in more detail, and we found the next bottleneck. And we identified a single script step that was taking about 10 seconds every time it was executed. And it was executed more than once for a layout switch. The purpose of this set field was recording the current switch. So adding something to the history. And the reason why this was slow, which we identified, was this relationship. Because the current layout was based on the students table, and the navigation history was 3 relationships away from the current layout, which 2 of those were not simple one-to-one relationships, but complex predicates being used. Even by writing more code, we made it run faster, because instead of writing through relationship, we simply switched to the target layout with target table occurrence, created a new recorder, and set the fields directly. So instead of going through complex relationship, we operated in that target table directly. And just this simple modification resulted in cutting the time down to 4 seconds. The goal was to get as much speed up as possible at the lowest possible time, and give the customer guidance how to continue with the optimization on his own. The point of this help was find the bottleneck, find what is important to focus on, and give the customer the guidance to know how to optimize the solution even more. The time that he saved for the users. He has 5 users, 30 seconds per layout switch. And let me assume that they were switching layouts 100 times a day. You mentioned 200 times, so I think this number must be right. I believe it's much higher. As you said, 200 makes sense. And if I think about my work with FileMaker, I definitely switch layout at least 10 times a minute if I intensively work with the solution. Then if you count 5 days a week, you get 300,000 seconds per month saved. That's 1,000 hours a year. And you can have us optimize your solution. We consider our work to be done when the optimization is sufficient. But at the same time, we also give you advice how to move on, how to continue and make it even better.